Well, what's the crack? How are you getting on? You're all very welcome to episode 84 of the Ramble Pod for Buckshot. Today is the 17th. 17th of March 2020. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm dressed in the most Irish way I can possibly be dressed. I'm wearing a fucking paddy cap and a woolly jumper. Yeah? What's the crack? I normally just record these, whatever, and stick them up on YouTube, but I said, fuck it, you know what, today we'll try and just brighten things up a small bit. We'll go live on the old Facebook. Why not? Thank you very much, everybody who got in contact. Fair play to you. There's been a shit ton of emails, and needless to say, a lot of people have time on their hands the last couple of days. So, but yeah, it's cool to hear where people, Australia, New York, Canada, a couple of people in Central Europe and whatnot. Nobody has any, I think that's the big thing, nobody has any idea what's going on. I'm trying to steer away from as much coronavirus as possible, just having a bit of fucking crack. The dog is 3 years old today. Isn't that right, dog? She's over there, she couldn't give a shite. Yeah, thank you very much to Patreons for getting on board. I got a message today saying that somebody struggled with making a payment on it. I don't know, people have been able to. It's the only method really, like, you know what I mean? People, if you want to contribute to the podcast, obviously. Hello, dog. You alright? Man up. Man up the fuck. That's it. Yeah. Right in front of the microphone. Why not? Who doesn't love an old dog? You sit in there now, the good dog. To the people who are only listening on audio, the dog has decided it's my time. I'm on the way over. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody who's contributed so far. So we've been blasting out the podcast as reg as possible. Did I just say reg as possible? Jesus Christ almighty, what's wrong with me? No, the Harden Up podcast, we got a big extra long one, hour and a half one done, myself and Owen Colgan. We got it done the other day. Hand sanitized the shit out of ourselves before sharing a car for nearly 2 hours. But it was a good one. People really, really like that one. So I put up over on the old Instagram account, I stuck up a clip of it. Yeah, I didn't realise how filthy we were, the two of us. Just, what the fuck we were on about. Just being manky bastards. But just chatting back and forth. Owen is always good crack. Again, it's sticky enough to nail the two. Now, the two of us have time on our hands. But in all reality, speaking of hands, we're not allowed to fucking even shake hands. I don't know what we're going to do. So I've downloaded a Skype recording app. Because people complained about one time I did a Skype one, it did not come out well at all. But I just recorded straight from the yoke. So it's sorted. It's grand. So yeah, happy birthday, dog. News on there's pheasants everywhere, lads. Deer everywhere. It's like they know. They know they're taking it back. I am legend all over the shop. Jesus Christ. Are you like my Alsatian? Are you, dog? Yeah? You look so disinterested. I'm actually just going to tilt the camera down a little bit. Just for dog's sake. Yeah, because everybody likes old dog. Sit up there, sit up, so everybody can see you. I say everybody, I have no idea how many people are on board, but that's the crack. Like I said, thanks very much for getting in contact. It's fucking weird, isn't it? I'm finding myself counting Tupperware and shit like that. Just making soup in large batches just to see what happens. It's been working. Yeah, all you can do is stay positive with this shout shite, isn't it? Do you know, people have gone through actual worse things. I know for us, going through stressful moments and all the rest of it, but like, you know, I was in Tesco yesterday. Had to go. There's, people are saying self-isolate, steer away from everybody, but Jesus Christ, starving of hunger is another fucking thing. Like, dog, you're pulling off all sorts of cuteness here beside me. She's doing that paw thing over her eyes. What are you doing? Huh? Just because you're the birthday girl. But even the woman behind the counter was like, look it, I've just accepted it. I gotta work and I gotta steer clear of old people. Simple as that. But I don't know, I mean, I was talking with Owen about it and they were saying that possibly, there's a few countries they're claiming anyway that they're close to finding a cure or something that'll stabilise it. Who knows? Could you really believe it? I don't know. Sure, look it. Money talks anyway, because whoever's going to make that cure, oh my Jesus, are they going to make some money? Oh, Jesus Christ. But I said I'd check in with you anyway. Tom and Jerry showed people, a lot of people have been on board. A I've been releasing the Tom and Jerry shows, which were exclusively up on the Patreons. But even I think the Patreons are cool enough with letting me just throw them up there. A lot of people hadn't heard them before. So, I'll be banging out another one of them tomorrow. And hopefully before the end of the week, myself and Owen can bang out another one. Jesus Christ. As far as news goes, what's been good? Huh? Chatting with a fella today, he was in great form. Making a fucking fortune, he was. He was building walls. People still need their walls built. Building walls, this lad was. So he's absolutely delighted with himself. He's making a fucking fortune. The phone isn't ringing. He's just on the one job. It's great. Huh? How bad? But the more I think about it, like, once we get through this motherfucker of a situation, I mean, going by the good vibes I'm getting off people, right? The good vibes that people are sending. Because there are some good vibes. Like, not just some good vibes. People are just saying, this is fucking class. Anything. Just to stay away from the fucking boredom of it all. But it was... I think there's going to be a landslide of good crack when this thing ends. I think it will be. I mean, yeah, okay, there'll be a while before we can, we'll be hugging again, doing too much over shaking of hands and all the rest of it. But I think there'll be a landslide of good crack. There's going to be some fucking session in there, huh? When this thing is over and done, there's going to be some session, I can tell you. Oh my days, landslide of gigs. We'll be all back. The boom will be back again. Brilliant stuff. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. Sports will come flooding back. Gigs will come flooding back. People will be just hanging for something. You can see by it. There's people just jumping on this podcast that have never come across a podcast before. And they're just going, this is a great way to pass the day. Snoop Dogg, you're breathing kind of funny. Good girl. What else? What else has been going on other than this fucking carry on? I'd written a bunch of notes and I have no idea where I left them. Pretty much the young fella's after eating him at this stage. Mother of Jesus, he's eating some amount of grub. At 6 months old, he's like, I better get back working quick. Holy shit. By the time he gets to 9 or 10, oh my God. He'll have me fucking ate out of house and home. Quite literally, he's going to start eating the walls and stuff. Suffering, Jesus Christ. But I've been putting together a lot of videos and stuff like that, so of clips that I had before. I'm going to put out, I found a couple of, I totally forgot I had them, clips from me in the Laughter Lounge. What I'm going to do, just to justify it, what I'll do is I'll put out a couple of clips on the likes of Instagram and all the rest of it, and then I'll put the entire set up on an unlisted YouTube for the Patreons. And any new Patreons want to, if people, it's basically just to entice people to go, look, here's a one-off payment or whatever. You got to be working at something. You got to be working at something. And I've almost nothing to sell you. So I may as well try and sell you jokes. And I think, Laughter in the Air. Yes, that's the new one, or the one we did for TV. A lot of nice messages about that sound. So Laughter in the Air, which we did, spelled air, E-Y-R-E. See what they did? The TV show. It was actually good. It was good. Unbelievable for Galway. And we just got sent on. I must actually just see the email coming in there. They sent us on the clips, I think, from it. I hope they send me my full set because I'll be able to chop it up then and actually just put it out in different bits. But I think they sent us on our clip. So we just pumping out continuous content. So like that, if you're new to the podcast, if you go onto the Instagram page, it's the handiest place to find all of the guests that have been there before. There's 130 odd guests and well over 200 episodes, including Ramble Pods and all the rest of it. So, might be the time with the old Skype. Now might be the time to actually just get on board and start hounding people. People have time in their hands now. Just fucking Skype them. It's because there's a few interesting ones in the pipeline. Wouldn't be interesting to get out of Ian Keaton. I don't think he's gone back. I doubt he's gone back to North Italy, where he was playing for Treviso, so I might be able to track him down again. He was, it was touch and go. He was looking like he was going to have to go back, didn't know, and all the rest of it, and we were going to try and hook up and get the whole podcast done. You know yourself. Jesus, weirdly, I kind of miss driving. I've done fuck all driving in the way that I typically would. The car's just sitting out there kind of going, hello, darkness, my old friend. And you're like, sorry, car, I've got nowhere to go with you. Even though 10 cents is off the diesel now. Down to 122. Dog, you're actually grooming yourself up against me. You'll get away with it today because it's your birthday, but that's about it. Oh, mother of Jesus Christ. It's, all I can think about is holidays. Going on holidays. I see, that's what happens when free time comes into my head. I start rambling away with notions like that of going on fucking holidays. Where could you go? Who doesn't have this dose at the minute? Antarctica? Probably doesn't have much of it. I'd go just for the crack. So if you know, but I suppose all you can do is stay active, isn't it? People kind of go, it's an easy thing to say, stay safe and all the rest of it. I suppose a minimum amount of travel out, but stay active. I know if you're in an apartment and stuff, it's like, yeah, fuck you, Tom. Jesus, lads, be drawing pictures, do something, because there's only so much telly you'll get through, and it's not the crack of Christmas, you know what I mean? So you have to start doing something that actually is going to brighten your day. Even fucking fix the old leg of the chair that you've been going, right, I couldn't be bothered my hole with that thing now. Just do it. Or just rearrange the furniture for the crack. YouTube something about Feng Shui, or old Mary, what's her name? The old Japanese one there. Google her. Get all your jocks in a row. I've been doing washing like you wouldn't fucking believe. I'm washing stuff that doesn't even need washing. I think I'm washing the curtains tomorrow. Why not? It's all you can do is stay active. I'm actually enjoying making the clips and making videos and stuff like that, because just to be doing something, like, because you're gonna go fucking batshit crazy. Lads have been getting on board. People have just been saying they're bored, but you should send me on videos of stuff that you are actually doing, or that you're not doing, that you go, what should I fucking do with this? All I can advise you on, if anybody's looking for actual genuine advice, is DIY. That's about the size of it. DIY. I'm doing a job for Gordon Rochford. To be fair, I owe him. Gordo of those conspiracy guys. I talked about his unbelievable studio a couple of weeks ago. Oh my days. It's like a fucking spaceship inside it. He got totally overcharged by some shower of bastards in they're kind of a hardware shop up the road to do a small little kind of mounting to come out of the side of his seat to hold an iPad. You're like, you already have all the bits. These fuckers are going to charge you. I won't say what they were going to charge him because you wouldn't believe me, but they were going to charge him big money just to do the small little job. You're like, hey, you rotten bastards. Tisn't a 20 quid job. You'd nearly do it for nothing just to be interested, to ask what it's about. It's like, I remember one time I got a coffee machine. A bloke, I didn't get a coffee machine. A mate of mine had a coffee machine, and to get this one little part on it, it was going to be, 210 quid. This tiny little metal bit, because you had to get the whole surround and everything done. Even though you could take the bit out and put in a new bit, they were going to sell you the whole fucking kit and caboodle. So I went to an engineering shop. This is a thing for people. Now, when this shit gets back up, start working back with people that actually, you don't always have to go to the main source of where they say it. You go to, unless the thing's under warranty or whatever. You can go, there are people that can make shit for you. You know what I mean? And I went into this, I suppose it was an engineering firm. 210 quid anyway they wanted for this gang of bits. I went into your man, showed him the part. He went, what? You want me to make one of them? It was like a little nozzly little thing. He goes, yeah, give me 15 minutes. He came back out, tenner he fucking charged for it. Do you know? So there's alternatives. It's this shit that's taught us anything. There's alternatives. I mean, there's somebody out there that can do a bit of everything. Or you could go find your specialist. Because I think that's probably what this will do. It'll teach us to slow down a small bit. Because there has to be a positive somewhere in the whole thing, doesn't there? There has to be. I mean, somebody's making a fortune anyway. Like your man building walls today. He's making a fucking fortune. The shop's making a fortune. Do you know, those are positives. People are getting overtime that they probably were never going to get. There's guards being drafted in that were all they were doing was, arson about in Templemore up until now. And they were told, get on that fucking hat. You're out, kid. You're on the job. Go on. Get your hole out there. Do you reckon they'd be excited or shitting it? Do you know, what do I do now? Well, what you do is put on your hat and get into that Garda car. Because they've hired 200 Garda cars. Again, some hire companies made a fortune. 200 extra Garda cars. They're going to stick them all in there. Apparently, doctors that have just graduated, they're getting immediate internships. You know? So it's good. It's good. The light is failing here. Christ almighty, I look like a ghost up on the camera. What? As long as my head can be seen. An old dog. You're in good old form, dog, aren't you? So, people were messaging me about St. Patrick's Day. I know the crack was good. I think if you go over onto... I think I either put it up... I put it up yesterday. It was the episode of the Tom and Jerry show. One of my memories, lasting memories. It wasn't... I may have been wrong on the podcast, but I thought it was a Dublin City Marathon, but it might have been the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And getting awestruck at seeing Angus McAnally. Does anybody remember Angus McAnally? The giant head. He still works in RT, I think. And he totally snubbed me. I'll never forget it. It was like... I remember hearing stories about Mr. T, how he snubbed people. I was like, what a bollocks. That had never happened to me. Irish people are so lovely. I remember Angus McAnally snubbing me as he drank a cup of milk. I'm nearly sure it was St. Patrick's Day and not the actual Dublin City Marathon. Broke my heart. I remember I was part of a parade once. Twice. It was a Taekwondo club that we were in. And we'd kind of go... It was the weirdest thing. We weren't on a... Were we on a trailer? One year we were up on a tractor and trailer, keeping it agri. We're up on a tractor and trailer, doing kicks and breaking bits of timber. Meanwhile, these bits of timber were flying out into the audience at the time. Lads, what in the name... What the Christ was that about? But the following year, they kept us down off the trailer, and they just had us... We're talking 500 metres of a road, just doing kicks and punches, basically, in front of a load of other people up the road, just kicking the air. We kind of looked like Sega Mega Drive, Mortal Kombat, when you're just trying out which buttons are which. Just tap, 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 tap. That was essentially us. And that was my part in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I never really won for getting locked at it. So it always seemed like a fucking dose, just getting locked at the St. Patrick's Day. I love those ones because was it last year somebody did the one of the ATM? Where did they do that one? It was somebody in a cardboard digger digging out an ATM. They're like, lads, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, was it that? Or did they do when the snow... Probably the same blokes did the same too. They did the snow hitting a big Aldi. I mean, that's it's pretty funny. Cool move, actually. I don't know. I'm guessing Aldi and all of them are falling in line, but Lidl pulling it off, letting elderly folk in between 9 and 11. Nobody else. But of course, they put this up online. See, this is the fucking dose that people can be like. They put this up online that this is what they're going to be doing. They wrote it as elderly folk. What they should have wrote was people feeling vulnerable, or whatever. No, actually they shouldn't, because now you're just playing at the hands of the fucking knobs. And I know one of these women that wrote underneath it. I'm like, wow, you just really fucking disappointed me there. They wrote this up, right? They're put between, would say, 9 and 11 a.m. as of from tomorrow. Elderly folk are all that'll be allowed in. Or not, there's no security going to be on, but at the same time, keep your, be mannerly. Just let them in there. Don't go in there at that time, right? And a load of people, including myself, went, this is great move. Cool, very cool little, right? And like 3 or 4 people underneath were going, what exactly quantifies as being elderly? Because like my parents are in their 70s, but I wouldn't, consider them elderly. It's like, for the love of Jesus. Now we're asking for ID at the door. Pensions. Fuck off. Like, my old fella isn't 70 yet. But he wouldn't consider himself old. Old. He certainly isn't vulnerable. So, he'd let 70-plus-year-olds go in there. So, if you ain't feeling it, I think is what they were saying. If you ain't feeling old, then go in every other time. But for the elderly folk that are feeling a little bit, oh, Jesus, they'll go in between. But did it need to be said? It was just like, are you just finding things to crib about? For the love of Christ, are you finding things to crib about? Jesus, Mary and Joseph. But it was a very cool move. Very cool move. I'm half thinking of getting into making scented candles or something, lads. What you reckon? Huh? Who'd buy a scented candle? I have no idea what I'm talking about. But in the way of scented candles, I'm not even that into them. But I think people like scented candles. What's the betting, right? I was thinking about this, and it ain't a joke or a bit. Although maybe, would there be some mad bastard? Say they get pregnant now, the wife or the girlfriend gets pregnant now. 9 months' time, when everything's all cleared and passed and all the rest of it. Do you reckon they named the child Corona? What do you reckon? Huh? Because, I mean, the amount of John Pauls that came out that were born in around 74, 75 when the Pope came to visit Ireland. A lot of John Pauls, you know. Guessing a lot of Justin sprung on the line when Justin Bieber popped up. Corona. Huh? It's not that bad of a name. Poor old Corona, the beer. I mean, it's piss beer. It did not deserve to be slapped like this. It did not deserve to be slapped. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. I don't know who'd be drinking it anyway, but at the same time, would you be bothered your hole now? Poor old Corona. Getting a kick. Who else? Like Heineken are probably just rubbing their foreheads going, oh, Jesus, thank God they didn't call it that. Could they sue whoever named it? Of course, dog, do you want to talk? That's the dog grumbling into the microphone. Did you want to talk into the microphone? Did you? Huh? I should do more podcasts with you. You're as warm as a fucking hot thing. Hot sprocket, whatever that is. You badly need a haircut. That's the big thing. The wild heads that are going to be going around on lads, especially because if girls, already have their hair long, at least they can kind of do something with it. But lads that are used to getting the fade done and all the rest of it, keeping their do nice and sharp. Oh. Yeah. There's going to be some hairy heads going around the place. We're going straight back to the 70s. I mean, I looked like I'm in, the IRA in the 70s with the hat and the woolly jumper and all the rest of it. So I'll fit the bill. Not a fucking bother. Dog, what have you been eating? Your breath is like scampi fries mixed with the dump. Huh? Good, sweet suffering. I don't lick the microphone. Don't. Thanks very much for your time. I'm, knitting. There's going to be all sorts of things. I reckon people are going to come out as experts. Do you reckon this is kind of like a retreat? Because if it goes, especially beyond the 14 days, because poor old Italy, Jesus Christ, like war times, you ain't getting out unless you have the booklet saying that you're allowed to go across town to get your shopping. If it does, I reckon people will get real crafty. There'll be world haberdasheries opening up. Just knitted, what did I, shawarma? Is that what they call those things, why do I even know that name? It's from watching, what's it from watching? Escape to the Chateau, that's what it is. It's from watching Escape to the Chateau. Who doesn't love a bit of Escape to the Chateau? I know. And the cute bastards, although it's been obviously been cut short. If you haven't seen it, it's basically your man from Scrappy Challenge married this kind of wild-looking designer woman, and they bought, as it sounds, a chateau in France. And they did it up. Magically did it up. Making everybody thinking, I could do that. No, you fucking couldn't. Because Channel 4 are paying them some ball of money. And they are making some ball of money because, oh my days. That thing, if you would not have any change out of 4 million after what they did. Not a hope. And then they took the show on the road. I'd be really interested to see what they could talk about. I suppose slides is the main thing. And this is when we bought the chateau. And this is when we sunk 4 million into it. Because they make it sound like, I'm doing it all myself. Yet, Dick Strawbridge is your man's name. His belly's getting fatter and fatter. I tell you one thing, if you're doing that all by yourself, you'll be as skinny as a rake by the end of it. I'm not even joking. Yeah, that's right, dog. You agree, don't you? So it'd be interesting to see what their live show is like. It'd be worth going to, wouldn't it? If you get it, just to see what the hell, just get drunk and go to see Dick and what's her name? Angel. That's Christ almighty. Homeland is back. This is some Homeland level shit, isn't it? Because they had a bit of a disease virus thing going on a few times on it. So, yeah. And that's, of course, we think we're all ready. Everybody keeps saying, I thought the apocalypse was supposed to be more crack than this. Lads, we're getting away fair light. The fact that children, I know they talk about vulnerable people being old and all the rest of it, but at the very least, they've seen a bit of life. They know how to step around the thing, like, or to physically avoid the thing. So youngsters are just going to run buck wild into it, and it doesn't affect them at all. So it's been it's kind of an interesting one. We're getting off light enough. I mean, look, like I said, it's going to be hunker down, look after yourselves. Don't do anything stupid. Keep yourself clean and all the rest of it. Do those avoidance things that they talked about. Steer around everybody in the supermarket if you got to go. But hunker down. Give it 8 weeks in reality. 8 weeks before things start. They've gotten a handle on this thing, because this has come straight out of left field. Once they get a handle on this, give them 8 weeks in all reality. You know, survive. Stick in there for 8 weeks and just think, we're going to be in the summer. The hurling season is going to be back. They got to see out the rugby season is going to be back. Your soccer is going to be back. Fighting is going to be back. Oh my days. I'll be back on stages. Please God, with this caveman back on the road again. And perhaps one or two other things, but a lot of stand-up there'll be a backlog. And it's got to be done. It's got to be done. So, hold tight. 8 weeks. I'm giving it 8 weeks, and we'll have a proper handle on this, carry on. And I reckon from there then, let the good times roll. The session is going to be good. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thanks very much for everybody got in contact. A bunch of lads, and mostly when I asked about good crack stories from St. Patrick's Day, all of them started with, so we were on the rip. Which, of course you were on the rip. It's St. Patrick's Day. Or as Americans like to call it, St. Patty. I know what they're trying to do. You know, you're making a slang word out of the word Patrick. But just do as the natives do and call it Patty. For any of the Americans listening, it's Patty. Is a woman's name in The Simpsons. You know, or it's a flat piece of burger meat. It's not St. Patty's Day. You know what I mean? It's like when people call their arse a fanny. It's not a good thing. It's not a good look, not a good move. Just, that's the only curtailment I'll tell you to. So, unfortunately, it's been locked down everywhere, but I reckon that's what we should aim for. Have St. Patrick's Day in the middle of the summer. And we just go fucking wild. We just go wild, lads. Once we get a handle on this whole thing. I'll pump out another one tomorrow. If you do want to contribute to the podcast, there is, of course, the Patreon, /Tom O'Mahony Buckshot. If you don't worry about it. Everybody's tight at the minute, but you'll look at you'll come see me at a gig. Sooner rather than later, hopefully. And we can all pull together and have a bit of crack out of this. Going by the good vibes. Keep the messages coming. Let me know what the crack is. Let's talk about some subjects that have absolutely nothing to do with the K virus. I'm calling it the K virus because the C virus would suggest what Donald Trump called it, the Chinese virus. You're like, you stupid old bastard. But the more he speaks, I'm just thinking, you are just a stupid old bastard. Just coming out with stupid old racist shit. Because he knows who's in his wheelhouse. It's all old racist fuckers. It took me straight back to when I was about 7 or 8, maybe I was about 10. I was over at a friend's house. And I'll remember this day till the day I die because I fell around the place laughing, even though I knew it was kind of wrong. I was over at my friend John's house and we were watching The Dragon. The movie of, or maybe it was just called Dragon. It was the movie of Bruce Lee. And we were watching it. And in walks his crotchety old granny. In the door, she goes, "What are you doing watching them dirty old Japs?" You're like, whoa. First off, granny, racist. What do you act like? Relax. And then secondly, they're from China. But she just came out and went, better? All the same. You're like, no, they're not. Not even close. I wandered out another door out of the room. But she wasn't for turning. But she was in her 80s. You're like, all right, you get a pass because, you probably remember the Second World War or whatever, or have throwback stories from it. So she was, she was some way justified in it. And that's all I see. He just sounds like a crazy old, mad bastard and racist old fella, doesn't he? So we'll call it the virus. So come at me with plenty of good stories. Bit of crack. DIY questions. I know a fair bit about DIY. So come at me with that. send them to me at any shape, make, way you want. Tom O'Mahony Comedy on all the usual platforms. If you're on Chatty Snaps, it's Tom Bear O'Mahony. And if you want to send long form, I've been getting a lot of messages from people how to set up a podcast. I'm going to write a stock email, and especially given all the help I've been given by the likes of Gordon Rochford, I will be passing on the good vibes. So if you want to send me something, long form, bookshotpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get to it the day after tomorrow. And hopefully, well, tomorrow I'll pump out another Tom and Jerry show on the same network. So if you are new to it, hit subscribe. Over the next couple of weeks, there'll be a podcast of some sort coming into your ear holes. Oh, that sounded filthy. Ugh. It'll be in your ear holes at least once a day, just to keep the old mad shit. So throw any assorted topics you want, DIY or not. Let's talk about it. And other than that, hopefully I'll get a Hard Enough podcast with Owen done before the end of the week. And I'm going to start tapping up people for some Skype ones. We'll keep her lit, lads. Thanks very much for keeping in contact. I'll talk to you in a few days. Good luck.